Well, my answer would be why not Ohio State? You know, a place with great culture, the best coaches, the best players, the best fan base that's very passionate about their team and about the whole city as all. So
Ohio State has got their next quarterback. Kansas State's Will Howard is going to Columbus via the transfer portal. He is committed to the Buckeyes.
The Ohio State Buckeyes have fallen short of their goals the last few seasons. They've now lost to Michigan 3 times in a row, and Ryan Day found himself sorta on the hot seat. So what did he do? He went out and recruited like a maniac and brought in so much talent that it's hard to even analyze all that this team did. But I'm gonna do my best to talk about everything and why they are the heavy frontrunner to win it all in 2025. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. Your support truly does mean the world. So, the Buckeyes have truly had so much talent come in and out of the system, specifically over the last few years. You had guys like CJ Stroud, the Bosa brothers, Marvin Harrison, and so many others. But it's been 10 years since Ohio State has won a championship, and even though they got so close a year ago, with Noah Ruggles missing a field goal to go to the championship game, they just really haven't been as dominant as the Urban Meyer teams before. But like I said, coming into the 2024-25 season, there is more expectation than ever because this roster is loaded up and down with so many 5 and 4-star players. So the first player I want to talk about that Ryan Day recruited is Will Howard, the superstar and super talented quarterback who played for Kansas State last season. But first, let's start with Kyle McCord, who last season was average at best for the Buckeyes standards. At times he looked like an elite passer, but at other times he looked like he didn't even belong on the team. Meanwhile, Howard is absolutely spectacular, and while his stats might look similar to McCord's on paper, his ability to have success at Kansas State with much less talent around him speaks for itself. According to reports from The Athletic's Bruce Feldman, opposing coaches also believe Howard is set to have a massive year for the Buckeyes in 2024. I think he's going to have a monster year, said Big 12 defensive coach. All of a sudden, he is going to have this great supporting cast around here. For a big guy, he is pretty athletic and can run. I don't think he has a crazy strong arm, but he is very accurate and very smart. Ryan Day has yet to officially name Howard as the starter, with Devin Brown and Lincoln Cainholes all continuing to do their best to battle for the job. Nevertheless, if anyone has a case for the starting job, Howard seems to have the strongest and carries by far the most experience of any of the other QBs on the roster. And the best thing is that the pressure is kind of off because all he needs to do is get the ball to the playmakers on time and on target, and they will do the rest. He doesn't have to be a superhero. Now to move on to the backfield, TreVeyon Henderson will be returning as the #1 back, and we all know what he can do. But I'm super excited about the addition of Quinshon Judkins, who joins the Buckeyes after back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons at Ole Miss. He needed 6 practices before having his black stripe removed. The tandem should split carries in 2024 as the backbone of Ohio State's offense. Last season, the duo combined for over 2,000 rushing yards and 26 touchdowns, while helping their respective programs total 11 wins. It's going to be super nice to have depth in the backfield this season because last year, Henderson was hurt a lot and it really put a ton of pressure on Kyle McCord, and he obviously couldn't handle it. So now with what most likely is the best backfield tandem in all of college football, Will Howard has so much to work with. So that leads me into the wide receiving room. The Buckeyes obviously lost Marvin Harrison to the Arizona Cardinals, but I don't think this unit is going to drop off much, if at all. But this wide receiving room is very unproven, but the talent is pretty undeniable. There are plenty of reasons for optimism when looking at recruiting and expectations. At the same time, the leading returning receiver behind the established senior at the top had 18 catches last year. The unquestioned leader of this group has to be the 2-year starter, Emeka Egbuka. Last year, the projected first rounder was hampered by injuries and took a substantial step back from his breakout performance a year prior. Egbuka could have joined Harrison in the NFL and declared for the draft, but he elected to return with unfinished business. With a solid season, Egbuka will end up with the Buckeyes' career record for most receiving yards. Additionally, KJ Hill's career receptions mark is within reach. Even with the rest of the talent on the roster, the Buckeyes and Will Howard will look to Egbuka to lead the way. A player who is expected to be great and could even end up as the leading receiver is none other than true freshman Jeremiah Smith. There have been few freshmen in history to make their mark for the Buckeyes. However, Smith has his eyes set on Chris Carter's mark of 41 catches, 648 yards, and 8 touchdowns as a true freshman. If the top Ohio State receivers have a year comparable to what the unit put up in 2021, Smith could even end up with over 1,000. Likely the guy that will be the 4th receiver is redshirt junior Jaden Ballard. Thus far in his career, he has been just on the outside looking in. In 3 years, he's only recorded 9 catches for 159 yards and a touchdown. Last year, he was used primarily as a punt returner. Bullard was a 4-star recruit in the 2021 cycle and is looking to finally contribute. In a spring presser, Ryan Day lauded Bullard as the fastest guy on the team. They also said the team needs him to step up in 2024. With Keon Grays and Noah Rogers hitting the transfer portal, the back end of the receiver room is light. However, there are 2 highly touted receivers providing depth for the Buckeyes. After appearing in 2 games and not recording a stat as a true freshman, former 4-star receiver Bryson Rogers tested out the transfer portal. After finding clarity, Rogers decided to return to the Buckeyes. Now for the defense, this was really the unit that struggled last season in big games, but Ohio State's 2024 defense was already projected to be the best in the country before Caleb Downs committed to this team. Now that the freshman All-American safety from Alabama is transferring to Ohio State, the Buckeyes' 2024 defense has the potential to be otherworldly. The 2 biggest question marks that lingered for Ohio State's 2024 defense were the free safety position and the linebacker position. Downs' commitment could address both of those spots, as he will immediately plug in as the starting safety, while his addition alongside Lathan Ransom frees up Sonny Styles to move closer to the line of scrimmage and play LB. On paper, those should be the final 2 puzzle pieces to round out an 11-man starting lineup on defense that is full of experienced and talented players who are all capable of being amongst the best in the entire country at their respective positions. So, the start of the season is now just a few months away, and with Ohio State's roster set, it seems like a good time for some early predictions for a year with especially high expectations. The Buckeyes kinda start out the season how Michigan usually does. They play 5 cupcake games off the bat, and really, Oregon, Penn State, and Michigan are the only tough games. So there is no excuse for this team to go anything other than 11-1 or better, and they of course have to win the Michigan game. But with the playoff change, there's not as much pressure on the regular season anymore. The Michigan game is still do or die, don't get me wrong, but deep inside, there will be a lot less pressure on everyone. That's really all I have to say for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. Also, let me know in the comments below what you think about the Buckeyes coming into 2024 and what video you would like to see next. And until next time, I will see you all later.